What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Collector's Corner. I've got a special treat today. We are going to open up a starter deck for the Big Mum Pirates ST07. Everyone who knows the One Piece card game knows that there are some very good cards in this deck, particularly the Big Mum card. And the price to get this now is just ridiculous, just because of these one or two cards. So let's open her up and have a look. I know it's a little bit past its date. Not many people obviously use these anymore, just because of the price in which it takes to get them. People just buy the singles. But I found a place in Hawthorne, Victoria, that was selling them for only $85, and I thought, you know what, that's actually a pretty good bang for buck, considering that the staple Big Mum card in this deck is going for around $60 minimum. So you get two of them for the price of $85, which seems to be worth it. So do a shout out to Mind Games. That's the name of the store in which I bought them. But here we go. We'll start off with our leader, the Charlotte Lin. Don 2, when attacking, you may add one card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. If you have 2 or less life cards, add to one card from your hand to the top of your life cards. That's very handy, especially if you're got a lot of triggers in this deck, which I believe this starter deck does. But there's definitely a lot more cards, obviously in later terms, that have got a lot of good trigger effects. So being able to sort of choose what card will be played next from your life if you were to take it is very handy. That's just really cool artwork. Then we got 2 of the Charlotte categories. On play, look it up to one card from the top of your deck or your opponent's. Sorry, one card from the top of yours or your opponent's life cards, and place it at the top or bottom of the life cards. Then, if you have less life than your opponent, this card gains rush during this turn. Pretty handy if you're planning on having less life. It's not too bad a card. I don't know if it's run with in many decks lately. Maybe in the next OP10 release, there might be a use for it in maybe the Kid Leader deck, or maybe even the Nami one in 11, but I doubt it. So, but this is what we all came here to see. The 7 cost, 8k swinging Charlotte Lin on play. Your opponent chooses one. Trash one card from the top of your opponent's life. Add one card to the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. So either way, you're getting a win. It's a big heavy hitter, and your opponent either loses a life just from playing it, or you gain a life just from playing it. So it's a very, very good card, and it's not like character or leader locked, which means you can use this in any yellow deck, whereas I think the 10 cost Big Mum of Charlotte Lin, her effect is only activated if you have a Big Mum Pirate leader. So this card is very handy, and it's just about in every yellow deck you'll find. So there's only 2 of these in the starter deck, but yeah, if you ever get the chance, I'd be getting 2 of these starter decks. If you can get them for $85, it's very worth it, because you pay $170, and considering that one of these cards is worth, if you'd be lucky to find it for less than $50. So if you manage to get 4 of them for $50 each, you're still saving money, and you get all these other cool cards as well. So for the sake of it, or just for fun, I even put together a little Charlotte Lin leader deck and play with, see how it goes. But there you go, that's the two big ones. Then we've got a couple of Charlotte and Anna. 1 cost 3k, 1k counter. Just a vanilla, nothing else crazy about that. We've got Charlotte Snack, 5 cost 6k. Don 1, when attacking, you may add one card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. This character gains Banish and 1,000 power during this battle. That's actually pretty handy. The extra 1,000 on top of the Don means you becoming an 8k swinger. And then obviously the Banish means if your opponent does want to block it, then the card from their life goes to the trash. So that's pretty cool. Obviously you got to take the one card from the top or bottom of your life, which isn't too bad if you can get into it early, but it's either an end game finisher or you've got to try and do it early on. But yeah, there's 4 of them in the deck. That's pretty cool. Now we've got Charlotte Daifuku, I think his name is how you pronounce it. A 4-cost 5k swinger with 1k counter. Don 1, when attacking, you may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. Add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. So there's obviously a trend here with the taking a card from your life and then trying to get it back on again. So this card's pretty cool because you can obviously take the card on top or bottom of your deck, of your life, and then yeah, get another one back on top. So it's kind of just like a 1-2 switch. Nothing really comes out of it, but I suppose it's handy if you know what card's on top of your life. There's just 2 of these in here. You got Charlotte Flampe, 2-cost 4k hitter and a 1k counter. No effect here. Charlotte Brûlée is a 3-cost 1k with 1k counter, and she is a blocker with a good trigger effect. I use this Charlotte card in a few of my yellow decks because the trigger effect to play this card is just very handy when you get down to crunch time and all of a sudden you get a low cost blocker out, because at that point no one's really trashing your blockers. They're going for the attacks. So yeah, you get this blocker out and it just gives you that extra breathing space to stop your opponent. There's 2 in that. Charlotte Pudding. There's a lot of pudding cards out there. 2-cost 3k 2k counter. On play, look at up to 1 card from the top of your opponent's your opponent's life cards and place them at the top or bottom of your life cards. So that's handy. That's what I'm saying with Daifuku before, is that you can obviously look at the top card of your life, and if it's one that you want to keep there for the trigger effect, then you obviously keep it there, and if it's not, you can either leave it there and use Daifuku's effect to get him into your hand and then put a better card on top of your life. But it's just handy to know what's coming up next when when your leader takes the hit, if it's going to be a good trigger effect or not. So that's pretty cool. And there's obviously a 2k counter as well. Charlotte Montador, 3-cost 4k 1k counter. Activate main, you may rest this character and add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less. Trigger effect, you may trash 1 card from your hand and play this card. Not too bad. It seems like a lot of risk though to rest this character and take a card from the top of your life just to KO a 3 or less. Considering the yellow decks don't generally lower the cost of your opponent's characters, 3k is very hit and miss. You might get like a low cost counter or a low cost searcher, but I don't think it's really going to help you much towards end game. So it's not too bad, but I don't know. I wouldn't be running them. Then we got Zeus, 3k, 3-cost, 1k counter. Activate main, you may rest this character. Up to 1 of your Charlotte Lin cards gains banish during this turn. And obviously a trigger effect is to play this card as well. So that's pretty cool. So at least if it's, you manage to get it out with a trigger effect, it's still a 3k hitter. You might be able to pump it up to, with extra 2 on to the 5k for leader. But it's pretty good to give your Lin, and it's Charlotte Lin specific, so not Big Mum Pirates, it's Charlotte Lin only, will gain banish. And considering that all the Charlotte Lins in this deck are pretty strong, having a banish on that is really handy to really mess with your opponent and make them either use the counters or just trash the life. There's 4 of those in here. Baron Tamago, 4k, 4-cost, 6k and 1k counter. Just a plain vanilla, but decent swinger. Prometheus, 3-cost, 3k and 1k counter. Activate main, you may rest this character. Up to 1 of your Charlotte Lin again cards gains double attack during this turn. And he has the same trigger effect, which is to play this card. So that's pretty cool when, if you manage to get this card and Zeus out at the same time. Where's Zeus gone? If you manage to get both these cards out at the same time, whether by trigger effect or even the low 3 cost, because it's 6 Don in total, you could essentially give your Big Mum double attack and banish, and still have a few Don left over to ramp her up. Then all of a sudden your opponent loses 2 life straight to the trash, which is a pretty good combo if you can work that out. And obviously if it's in your life and it gets triggered, you get brought to the field and it's just 3 less Don you can save for something else. So that's pretty cool. I like the idea behind that. We've got Pecoms, is a 3-cost 5k vanilla hitter with 1k counter. 4 of those running in deck, and then we get to the events. We've got Soul Pocus. This is a 5-cost event card. Your opponent chooses 1 main. trash one card from the top of your opponent's life cards, add one card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. Trigger is activate this card's main effect. That is a sick card to have as a trigger effect, because obviously the 5 cost is pretty big. But it's essentially like playing, it's essentially the same as using the Charlotte Lin for the 7 cost, but obviously the difference is you then have an 8k swinging character on the field. But it's still a pretty cool effect. And the fact that it's also trigger, if you're able to put this card somehow back into your life with some of your other card effects, to trigger this and make your opponent either trash a life or you get a life is very handy. It's a very cool card. Power Mochi. This is just a 1 cost counter. Look it up to 1 card from the top of your or your opponent's life cards and place it at the top or bottom of the life cards. Then up to one of your leader or characters gains plus 2,000 power during this battle. That's just another sort of, going through your life to search and figure out what's coming up next or what you don't want. And it also has a trigger effect to draw 1 card, look it up to 1 card from the top of you or your opponent's life cards and place it at the top or bottom of your life cards. So it's basically, just a life searcher. And then also you get to draw an extra card too by trashing this. So, obviously that's the 1k counter, which is pretty handy. Or the 1 cost 2k counter, I should say. So there you go. And the last 2 of those in here. And the last one is the Queen Mama Chanter Stage. Here we go. So 2 cost, activate main. You may rest this stage and add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. Add up to 1 of your characters with a cost of 3 to the top of your owners to the top. Oh, let me start that again, sorry. Add up to 1 of your characters with a cost of 3 to the top of the owner's life cards faced up. I don't understand why it would say of the owner's life cards when it's the, add up to 1 of your characters with a cost of 3 to the top of the owner's life. Wouldn't it just be the top of your life cards? Whatever, that doesn't really matter, but still. And then the trigger is to play this card, which is pretty handy. It's risky to do this every turn, obviously, to take a life if you don't have the 3 cost out. But if you've got your Prometheus or your Zeus out, you could actually use their effect to give your Big Mum the banish or the double attack. Then you use this stage effect to then put that Zeus or Prometheus back into your life while also taking 1 from your life. And then that way, the next time you take another hit, it comes back out on the field again with no cost. So it also protects him too from being KO'd by effects during your opponent's turn. But yeah, so I can see the plus side to this, and I'm pretty sure this also would work well in the upcoming OP11 yellow-blue Nami deck. It's still risky, depending on how many 3 costs you've got in your deck, but otherwise it's it's a pretty handy card. I can see how it would work in this deck pretty well. So I might even just do I'll probably play a bit of a one-on-one game with myself and Blake, and I might just keep this deck as it is without changing it whatsoever, and just see how it runs, because it actually seems like a pretty cool starter deck, and I'm actually looking forward to giving it a shot. And then after that, I'm going to take the cards I need out of it, like this Charlotte Lin, and we'll optimize her into some really good decks. So I'm looking forward to the ST10 Eustace Captain Kidd leader card. Really looking forward to that. I think his ability is pretty cool, and obviously some of the other supporting characters that are coming out with OP10. So I'm sure everyone else is looking forward to that as well. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. That was my starter deck for the Big Mum Pirates, ST07. Hope you enjoyed opening that up with me. I'm sure people don't get to open this starter deck much anymore. So hope you all enjoyed it, and like and subscribe. We're also on Instagram now as well, so get on Instagram and check it out. Thanks, guys. See you later.